everybody, and welcome back to an all-new edition of the Odds Honest Truth right here on the In the Money Media Network. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever it is you're watching, and leave us a nice rating too, because that helps these shows go a real long way. Again, this is Odds Honest Truth. You can follow the show on Twitter at Odds Honest Truth, which really, if you're not doing it, you're just giving free money, because we're giving out winning picks left and right every single week for all things NFL, college football. We're exploring a little into the NBA, a little NHL. Rich is sporting the Knicks hat there, but all kinds of sports bets for wherever you play, however you like to play. Check us out at Odds Honest Truth. If you're watching the show on YouTube, you can see our Twitter handles below at Seagorge94, at Coda522, giving out winners left and right each and every week. And here I am with a man who's just on fire. He's on a betting tear that I haven't seen in years. In years, Rich Wilhelm, just on fire. Absolutely. My co-host, the man to my left, but stage right. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. And you can't say you're not on fire either, Mr. Daenerys Johnson over there, betting on the 4-yard line, stealing money. You got to tell them about that.
Yeah, that was a fun game, because for those who don't know, my day job is I work for the New York City Marathon, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. And so I've been a little hectic, a little crazy. I'm doing work here on a Thursday night, and I'm watching the Browns march down the field slowly but surely, and they're just running the ball every single play. They got to the 4-yard line. The betting was still open. I bet Mr. Johnson to get the first touchdown. Mm-hmm. I think I put like $50 down and got a quick $300 like within 20 seconds.
Can't beat that. I mean,
crazy angle. I tried to repeat it again on Sunday, but the betting wasn't open on the game I was watching, and whatever. But hey, man, it's an angle.
Yeah, they caught on, but I mean, you got to take the money and run.
Exactly, got to take the money where you can get it. 100%. We have a fun show this week for you guys here on the In the Money Media Network. We're going to be talking about all things college football. We got StuCast back with some picks and plays. We got some NFL picks. Rich has some NBA plays. The show is being recorded as of Wednesday night. So, obviously if things change, definitely keep an eye on Twitter, because we give out more plays all weekend long. But Rich, let's dive right into it with some college football and throw things over to Mr. StuCast. Alan Studer, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Welcome back in. College football segment. Last week, real tough. Lost some nail biters. Had some weird stuff happen. It does happen. You have some tough weeks in college football. This week, we get right back on the right track. 3 games for you, 3 plays. I've got 2 huge dogs I'll release on the Odds Honest Truth Twitter feed on Saturday. I like 2 dogs to both getting double-digit points as of right now. So stay tuned for Saturday when I release those. But this week, pretty simple. I'm going to go back to the well-wisdom teams that are tried and true. Cincinnati, -24 as they take on the green wave of Tulane. Michael Pratt, Tulane's quarterback, he's iffy. He's questionable. Concussion protocol. He's a warrior. He's a grinder. He probably will play, but look, Cincinnati, they ran into the Service Academy deal where we're going to keep the ball. We're going to have 10-minute long possessions. We're going to keep the ball away from you, so it's harder for you to score. And it really stifled Cincinnati. Cincinnati moved the ball effectively, efficiently. It's just they were on the field playing defense most of the game. So I like Cincinnati here. They're going to put it on Tulane. Tulane's defense has been horrific. I think this plays right into what Cincinnati wants to do. I think they'll have it their way. 24 is a gift. I'm going to take Cincinnati. Give me the Bearcats to get back on track, because they got to start putting up points, because we're still in contention for that CFP spot. I think they make a statement here. Big wins increase their chances of getting there. Next up, I'm going to give you an underplay. I know life's too short to play the under, but this week we are under 49.5 in Maryland, Indiana. Indiana actually played their fourth-string quarterback last week. I didn't know they even had a fourth-string quarterback. Maybe they didn't either. Maryland, offensive woes since Demas has been out. Talia Tungavailoa, he can sling it. This Indiana defense isn't bad. I get that they gave up 50 points to Ohio State. It is what it is. You get down, the defense is on the field the whole game. I understand it. I'm not going to take that away. But you hold Michigan State to 20. They've had some impressive showings before then. I think this Indiana defense, for what going up against Maryland, they'll do okay. But I'd be shocked. I don't see either team reaching 30. 49.5 is a gift. I'm going to take under 49.5. And another game, the Demon Deacons from Raleigh. I love Sam Hartman. Duke has been abysmal. They're coming off a bye. Prior to that, getting blown up by Virginia, 48-0. 2 games this season. North Carolina and Virginia, 2 teams that can score, not known for their defense. Duke scored 7 points on them. Wake Forest is going to put it on them. Sam Hartman to Robinson, Sam Hartman to A.T. Perry. It's going to happen all day. I think Wake Forest rolls. I don't trust Mateo Durant, although he's a good running back. I just don't think Duke can keep up in any way. Give me Wake Forest, and that'll be the picks. Remember, 2 plays on Saturday, Odds Honest Truth on the Twitter. Get on the Twitter, type it in. We'll have it for you. 2 double-digit dogs. And I guess all I got to say before I hand it back to you, Craig, go green, beat Michigan, go Sparty, Sparty on, keep chopping, and Craig, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Alan. All kinds of great analysis there for the college football scene. And, of course, you can check him out on Twitter at StuCastSports. We're going to send things over to our other correspondent, for lack of a better term. We got John Hazlett joined the show a couple of weeks ago, been giving out picks and winners. This man loves to make money, and he's going to tell you how he's doing it this week. John, take it away.
Hey guys, John Hazlett here with your picks of the week. We went 3-0 last week, so I hope you made some money with me. Let's hope to do it again now for this week. Game number 1, I love the Jaguars +3 over the Seahawks. I think the Jaguars win this game outright, so I would even consider throwing some money line cash out there. Game number 2, I'm going to take Tampa -5 over the Saints. I think the Saints are a little bit one-dimensional right now. I still don't think they're operating at full strength. I think that was evident in the game with Seattle, even though with the weather. And I think Tampa is just too much for any team right now. So give me Tampa -5. Then I really like the Cowboys -2.5 over the Vikings. I'll caveat that by saying if Dak plays. I know he's a little banged up, so if you hear late he's going to be scratched or whatever, then I wouldn't put any money here, but otherwise it's one to consider. And the other one, I'm going to go to the well with Kansas City -10 over the Giants. I just don't think the Giants will be able to keep up with Kansas City. I know they haven't been themselves, and that they got beat up pretty good with the Titans last week. I just think they're going to come out and play angry. So those are the 4 games for this week. Jags +3 and the money line. Tampa -5. Cowboys -2.5 as long as Dak plays. And Kansas City -10. Now let's make some money.
All right, thanks so much, John. All kinds of great NFL picks. The man went undefeated last week, so he knows what he's talking about. He's on a bit of a tear. Maybe throw some money his way. Rich, let's dive right in and let's do our NFL analysis. You usually take a look at the Thursday night games. I think this is going to be a real fun one from an offensive standpoint. Undefeated Cardinals, right? Against Green Bay Packers, one of the best teams in the NFL. Devontae Adams is on the COVID list still, according to my fantasy team, which I don't like because we're facing each other, and you know Adams would have gotten me that W. But why don't you tell us how we can make some money here betting the Cardinals-Packers game?
So not only is Devonta Adams out, Allen Lazard is also out. So to me, that means they're going to kind of rely on Aaron Jones a little bit. But with before we start anything, I said on the show, I think I say it weekly, I'm going to bet the Cardinals until they lose. Sometimes they're given points. This time they're giving up 6.5. So I'm going to take the Cardinals minus 6.5, just because I think Devontae Adams is such a huge piece of that offense, and Adam Lazard is the real number 2 on that team, even though Cobb kind of plays it on the depth chart. So, Aaron Rodgers is losing wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. So I'm going to do the Cards minus 6.5, and then I'm going to do Aaron Jones anytime touchdown because he's going to be the guy in this game. And I'm going to do Aaron Jones over 60.5 rushing. So the Aaron Jones anytime touchdown is $25 to win 47.12. And then the over 60.5 rushing is 25 to win 47.73. DeAndre Hopkins is questionable, but I feel like he's Joel Embiid, and he's going to be questionable for the rest of his career. That's kind of just how that goes. He will play, and I have him as an anytime touchdown. $25 is going to win you 51.50. It's really good to double your money with probably the best wide receiver in the game, because your guy's on COVID list, so he doesn't count this week.
No, not this week. One angle to consider in that Packers game with so many weapons being out is a guy who's chilling on my fantasy bench right now, but Robert Tonyan.
Yep.
Tonyan is a guy Rodgers does like to throw to. He just hasn't been getting him super involved this year. With sort of a lack of weapons, I do think this could be a pretty big week for Tonyan against a Cardinal team that is very strong offensively, but defensively, I think there's some holes there. They give up some points, and it's still Aaron Rodgers. So might flirt a little with some over on Robert Tonyan, maybe a touchdown score type of play here.
Yeah, and I mean, they're being very secretive with that right now just because they don't know what the wide receiver outlook's going to be. But yeah, if Tanyan's anything remotely in the 40-yard range, you definitely want to go over. Anytime touchdown, that's probably going to do a double just like DeAndre Hopkins did. And, Tanyan had a good week last week. I think he had almost 14 fantasy points. So, tight end appreciation day. He definitely was appreciated that day. The only other bet I have for this game is just because I think that the Cardinals are going to score early and often. I have Prater over 2.5 extra points. I love kickers. It seems like an easy bet. $25 wins you 41.67. So,
and kickers are people too. Matt Prater's one of my favorites.
That's why I bet him. He is your favorite. So I got to go with Craig's guy here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bets. Plus we got the Tanyan bets that aren't out yet, but we'll update that on the Twitter at odds on this truth. But yeah, this seems like easy money. These 5.
Yeah, I don't know if I 100% agree with Cards minus 6.5 because I'm still a little afraid of Aaron Rodgers, but those props seem dead on to me. Yeah. I think the Cardinals will probably win. I just don't know if it's by a full touchdown. But
I just see what they did to the Texans, and then I'm just gonna divide that by 4.
That's fair.
And that's 6.5. So, but it will be close. I think 7 points is probably what it's gonna end up in my head, but no more than that.
Yeah. Let's head on over to NFL Sunday, Rich. The first game you're taking a look at is the Detroit Lions against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Lions really put on a good show against a very good football team last week in the Rams. Do you think this is the game they get their first victory?
I do. And Jared Goff, if it wasn't for that interception in the end zone, it could have been a totally different game against the Rams. I bet Jared Goff to have that interception, so I want to thank him for that. But the Eagles they're playing really, really bad on both sides of the ball. You just look at that coaching staff. I think they made kind of a mishire there with Sirianni. Their defense is giving up tons of points. They try to fight back at the end of all these games, and Hurts just doesn't have the footwork and accuracy to kind of come from behind. On the other side of things, the Lions are kind of overperforming. They haven't won a game, so that's weird to say, but they're probably the most talented out of the. Obviously they haven't won, but I think they're more talented than any of the one-win teams out there too. So, I think Jared Goff puts it together, Swift, and Amon St. Brown, my guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Raymond. I think they definitely have a lot of underrated weapons, and then obviously TJ Hawkinson, which we're going to probably put a few things out for him because I think he's going to tear apart the Eagles. So Lions, they're getting 3.5 points. I think they win outright, so you can do a little money on there. But 3.5, $25 wins you 47.73.
Yeah, and you actually get better odds money line with the Lions, and I think I agree with you. I think they're going to win this game. I think they're talented. I just think for whatever reason they haven't connected the right dots to get that first win this year.
Yeah.
Let's head on over to a game that I'm pretty sure is just going to be a bloodbath,
Yes.
and I'm very glad we didn't buy tickets to this one actually, because this was one of the games we thought about getting tickets to, and we would have been very sad. But the Cincinnati Bengals, who I think put the NFL on notice. A few weeks ago, I was like, I think they'll be one of the top teams in the next couple of years. They might already be there, man. This defense is playing lights out. They're getting after quarterbacks. My boy Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is one of the top connections in the NFL. I mean, like, I think they rival a Rodgers, Devontae Adams, or I can't even think maybe a Murray and D-Hop. Like, the connection there is insane. And Jamar Chase is one of the best receivers in the NFL right now in his rookie season. And quite frankly, I think 10.5 points is an insult because the Jets are playing like hot garbage. Zach Wilson's injured. They made a blockbuster trade for Joe Flacco, which 10 years ago might have been an okay move. And I just think this is going to be a complete and utter beatdown. So, besides my analysis, what do you have to think about this one?
So the Jets lost by 41 points to the Patriots, and the Bengals are a much better team than the Patriots. So unless the spread was 51.5, I'm going to pick the team that the Jets are going against. So Bengals 10.5. They're going to do that in the first 6 minutes probably of the game. I think they'll have 2 touchdowns, and one of them is probably going to be to your guy Chase. So anytime touchdown for Chase, you want to get that. It's probably going to be $25 to win 3 cents, but still it's going to happen. Take the 3 cents. But 10.5. Mike White is starting this game, so your boy Flacco is going to have to wait another week. You want to also bet, Mike White interception. If it's over 1.5, I probably wouldn't touch it because he's probably not going to throw 2, even though he did against the Patriots. He's going to have a little time under his belt, but he'll at least throw 1. So $25 wins you $47.73. Also in this game, Michael Carter, if he's anywhere near the 5 to 6 range for receptions, you want to bet that over. He had 10 last game, and it's the same guy throwing to him. So I think Michael Carter is going to be really good this week. And Corey Davis, he'll probably hit his receiving receptions as well, because those are the 2 people that Mike White targets. So go with those.
And I know last week was tight end appreciation week, but CJ Uzoma on the Bengals as well. And I'm sorry if I butchered his last name, but he's having an incredible season as well. Got in the end zone twice last week against the Ravens. The Jets have been bad against tight ends for what feels like my entire life. This is, to me, that's another no-brainer. I might even bet him as the first touchdown, which, I've done that angle a couple of times against the Jets, and it's been fruitful. So,
and also the Jets have yet to give up less than 100 rushing yards in a game. So Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine are probably going to score as well. So Samaje Perine will probably give you a little more money. Bet them both in a parlay. Put Jamar Chase in there. Put Uzoma in there. Have a four-person touchdown
parlay. Yeah, I think have some fun here because it's just going to be a beatdown.
Yeah, take yourself to some Ruth Chris. Get yourself a steak. $25 will win you like $500. So just do
it. Absolutely. Let's head on over to. I think this is a really fun matchup. I think the spread is a little disrespectful, quite frankly, but you're calling it a pick 'em. The odds book is calling it a pick 'em. Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts. Titans are a 1-point underdog, and I think the Titans are a significantly better team. I mean, just you look at the teams that they've gone up against the last couple of weeks. You look at the way they're handling teams offensively and defensively. I just think that they're the real deal right now, and until someone proves otherwise to me, I think they're just going to keep running away with the AFC, literally on the back of King Henry. And you look at the Colts, and I think they're playing tough football, and they don't look bad. And Jonathan Taylor is winning me some money, like he gets in the end zone and he does his job. So I can't be mad at it. But from a game perspective, I think the Titans are just a real rock solid team. Tannehill's a good quarterback. He doesn't turn it over. And just the way they're able to bully teams running the football, it makes them dangerous every single week. I would take them +1.
I would take them plus 10. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand this one at all. Which normally games like this, when you don't understand why it is the way it is, it's a trap. But trap me because I'm probably going to put at least 150 on the Titans. And AJ Brown was over 100 yards. Julio Jones is doing better. Derrick Henry is the MVP of the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably him versus Jamar Chase if we're talking about skill positions, like and Kyler Murray. I mean, you're talking about kind of a 3-man race right now, which I love to see those guys and not the typical guys. Even though Tom Brady will probably end up winning it somehow, but whatever.
Probably, but this new era in the NFL does seem to be rocking and rolling. I mean, the younger talent is looking real good.
Yeah. So, in this game, obviously the lines aren't out yet. We're going to put it on the Twitter. But Derrick Henry, if you bet him anytime, you're probably going to win like $6. But, I think that's going to happen. And then on the other side of things, I bet Jonathan Taylor anytime every week, and it hits every week. So, it's just an extra little bit of money there. The pick 'em though is $25 to win 47.73. I would pick that if you see the show tomorrow, which hopefully you do. Just pick it tomorrow, so the spread doesn't change. But I like everything Titans in this game. And then the Colts, I really like Michael Pittman. Pittman's having a good year. Even if T.Y. Hilton is coming back, I think Pittman can go over on his receptions, his yards, and he's probably a good bet to get a touchdown as well, because I think the Colts are going to be playing from behind. So Michael Pittman, he's the real wide receiver one there, even though T.Y. Hilton's probably coming back.
And T.Y. Hilton is one of my least favorite wide receivers in the NFL. Yeah. So anything that is to spite T.Y. Hilton is fine by me. Let's talk about this next game you docked up for us, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Seattle Seahawks, the Geno Smith-led Seattle Seahawks, who threw to DK Metcalf all of 2 times. And I lost my fantasy game last week by half of a point, despite DK Metcalf getting a touchdown and like 80 some odd yards off of 2 catches. I've said this before on the show. I think it was last week. I don't trust Geno Smith. I don't like Geno Smith. I don't care how he looked coming into relief in that one game. He's still Geno Smith. And the Seahawks defense is a train wreck. And this is not the same team that the Russell Wilson version looks like. And without Russell Wilson under center, the Seahawks are one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yes.
Jacksonville's not that good either, but that means this game's up for grabs. Who do you like here?
Oh, I like Jacksonville. To me, this is the identical game to when they beat Miami. And the spread is exactly the same. So in that game, when they beat the Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars were given 3 points. To me, on paper right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are the better team. If you're talking about quarterback, I'm picking Trevor Lawrence. If you're talking about, anything that has to do with Geno Smith and that running game right now with the Seahawks, I want nothing to do with it. Alex Collins, his over in the last game was like 45 yards. Couldn't get that. So, I mean, no one's helping Geno. Geno's not helping himself. The only thing that's a little weird with this is Geno doesn't throw the interception, which we bet every single time. He just doesn't do it because he just wants to spite us. But as far as this game goes, if you want the spread, it's $25 to win 48.81. I'm picking money line. It's $25 to win 61.25. I'm also going to go heavy on Laviska Shenault just because the Seattle Seahawks secondary is atrocious. They just give up all the passing yards to all the people all the time. Besides Winston, who just decided to throw it to Kamara. It still counts as passing yards, but he threw about 3 yards for the entire game. But I'm wearing my Jacksonville Jaguar hat. The Seattle Seahawks, every time they lose, it helps my Jets. And every time the Jags win, it helps my Jets because they both go down the standings. So let's go Jags. Let's go Trevor Lawrence. Let's go Urban Meyer. Get that grind on.
Took me a second to find the mute button, but I agree with you. I think, the Jags are a young, exciting team. The Seahawks are a team in decline. I like them +3 here. Let's head on over to the New Orleans Saints facing off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The spread here is -5.5. The Saints did not look good at all on Monday night against a very weak Seattle team that we just talked about. But Seattle has shown some real New Orleans. I think I said Seattle. New Orleans has shown some real flashes of potential this season, but it's been very up and down. What's your analysis here against one of the more solid teams in the NFL, the Tampa Bay Bucks?
So this is the same spread that John has also, and I agree with him on this one. You just look, like you just said, look at the Saints against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a bottom 4 team in the NFL right now, and the Bucks are the reigning champions. So to me, I think this is going to be lopsided. Antonio Brown's going to be out probably for a month, if not more. And I don't think it matters. I think, Mike Evans, he put up 2 touchdowns last week. I think he's an automatic anytime touchdown bet here. I think Godwin's going to have a really good game. Gronkowski's been practicing, so let's see what he does. If Gronkowski comes back, I would bet him anytime because Tom Brady loves throwing him the ball. But 5.5, I think that's easy. Last week I was kind of questioning if the Bears were going to keep it close. They didn't keep it remotely close, and I lost that one, and I'll take that. Justin Fields is not ready to play yet. You need to put in Red Rifle or Nick Foles again. But yeah, for me, it's just kind of looking at the opponents and how the teams are playing. And, Mark Ingram joining the Saints is not going to boost them, into the stratosphere. So I think the Bucks win by like 14 points. So 5.5 is going to be an easy cover for me.
Yeah. And we've seen a couple of revenge game quarterbacks maybe, look pretty good this season. I'm thinking specifically Jared Goff last week against the Rams. I don't think that trend continues here with famous Jameis and the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm with you 100%. And we're agreeing a lot this week, which means that we're probably both wrong. But whatever. We've been doing pretty good recently. So
it's only money. It's fine.
Yeah, it's only money. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Let's head on over to, I think this is the chicken noodle soup game of the week. It's time for Kansas City to right the ship, right the wrong. And I think they're going to beat the dog poop out of the New York Giants. -10, I would bet this -20. I'm also a little mad at the Giants because they ruined my 8-team parlay I had last week that would have paid a lot of money. And I had the Panthers. I'll take that L. It's okay. I don't like the Giants. It's fine. But all that being said, the Giants aren't a very good football team. And the Kansas City Chiefs are a good football team. They just haven't been putting it together lately, but they've been playing tough teams. I think this one's just going to be a beatdown.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to look at this spread and be like, "Hey, the Giants just won 25-3 against the Panthers, and the Chiefs just got destroyed by the Titans." The NFL is a different animal. That doesn't matter. None of that matters. It just matters about this week, this game. All the skill position players for the Giants are out, or will be out. You look at Saquon, you look at Shepard, you look at Tony. They're all probably not going to play. So who is Daniel Jones going to throw to? It's going to be Booker and my uncle the entire game. I mean, the Chiefs are going to eliminate Booker right off the bat. So I love the Chiefs -10. It's $25 when 47.73. John also had the Chiefs -10. This is kind of one that I would pair with that Titans and just go heavy. I really think that Tyreek has a bounce back game, and I think that Kelsey's going to have a bounce back game as well because they need to get in the groove because there's actually a petition out right now for Mahomes to be on the bench from Kansas City fans. And I want them to just take a look at themselves right now and realize that there's Jets fans out there. And I want them to realize what they're doing. So this is kind of a stinker for prime time, unless you're a Chiefs fan or you like to see pain. Yeah. Which, as someone who has a lot of Chiefs in my fantasy leagues, I love to see pain. Give me a lot of hill touchdowns. Give me some sprinkle in some field goals because I got some Harrison Butker in there. And I have no Giants because I like to win my fantasy league. So keep it going. But yeah, I mean, all these games, it kind of seems like they're clear cut, which means that half of them won't hit. But, we did this a couple of weeks ago and we went 6-0 with the spread. So it's kind of another week like this. Last week was just bizarre because it was Biomania. All the good players were out in your fantasy leagues and all the teams couldn't play well. It just last week was bad. This week we're back on track.
Exactly. We're back at it. I really like these plays. I think they make a ton of sense. Rich, we've also been flirting a little bit with the NBA and we're let us know in the comment section below if you want a little bit more NBA analysis out of us. Obviously, a little bit difficult to do on a weekly show, and there's so many games every week. But why don't you kind of just talk us through some of the angles you've been working and playing through over the last week or two?
So, I mean, as a bettor, you kind of want instant gratification. And, with NBA bets, you can get that. You don't have to wait until the game is finished. What I love to do is I love to bet the overs on threes, and sometimes you'll have a player that's over 1.5, and that could hit in like the first 8 minutes. And you're like, hey, I just won $150. Let me enjoy the rest of this game. And then also, a lot of sports books open up those again at halftime. So if your guy that you bet over the threes is kind of sucking, they drop it down to over 0.5, and all they need is one to kind of recoup or win more than what you bet. I love doing that with the Knicks, and I'm wearing the hat because the Knicks have won me a little bit of money so far, and all I'm betting is their threes. You look at the Knicks as a team; they're putting up so many 3-pointers, they're draining every single game. And that's the way that this team is now. It's a 3-point shooting team. And the game they struggled against the Magic is when they didn't execute that. So with that being said, let's look at, the game for the 28th, which is when this show is coming out. So if you're watching it, the game's on tonight. RJ Barrett is over 1.5. Hit that last game. Let's do that again. Fournier is over 2.5. Hit that last game. Let's do that again. Kemba Walker is on fire with threes. It's insane. It's insane. So he's still at 2.5. It's really rare that they go any higher than that. So give me Kemba over 2.5. And then Julius Randle, who is the MVP of the team, is at 1.5 because he had one last game. But give me all the overs on the threes. Honestly, I mean, like even Derrick Rose, if you want to flirt with Derrick Rose, he had one last game, but I mean, he's never going to be higher than 1.5. So another guy that I'm really big on this year is Cole Anthony. He loves to shoot 3-pointers. If you bet him yesterday, he went over. If you bet him against the Knicks, he had 5 3-pointers. So I mean, before he jumps to 2.5, you want to jump on Cole Anthony. You want to jump on Miles Bridges. And then, LaMelo Ball is having a bit of a downswing, but you want to jump on his threes as well. And we'll have more of an analysis if people actually want to hear NBA this early on when the NFL is going on. But I'm getting into it, man. So watch out. And then John is also betting NBA. So when John Hazlett bets, it's all wild bets, which we're gonna present to you next week.
Yeah, in the coming week, stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff to Odds Honest Truth. That's gonna do it for this week's show. We want to thank John and Alan Studer for joining us earlier and giving some picks and plays. Of course, want to thank the man, the myth, the legend, Rich Wilhelm, for all his analysis, all of his picks, and all of his bets. You can follow him on Twitter at Coda522. But really, he's running the at Odds Honest Truth, which I really should make a graphic for us, but I haven't done it yet. At Odds Honest Truth on Twitter. Actually, wait, did I? I did. Look at that. At Odds Honest Truth right below. Follow along because there's picks coming almost every single day. Lots of plays, lots of winners. And my favorite part about it, actually following along on the Twitter, is you just take a screenshot of your sports book, right, and send it up, and your bankroll's in the top right corner. And like every time you give out, it's higher and higher and higher. So
that's the BDE, which I'm not gonna say what it stands for, but you know what it stands for. It's the
exactly. We're a show on the internet. Like if you don't know what come on. Yeah. I'm at Seagorbs94. Thank you so much for listening to this show this week and every single week. Again, make sure you're liking and subscribing and following all things In the Money. You can catch this show on the In the Money Media master feed. You can find it on inthemoneypodcast.com. You can find us on the In the Money Media YouTube. And I don't know, man, just find it and listen to it. It's a good show. We're giving away money. Just follow it and bet it. If you're not involved yet with a sports book, get involved. There's still all kinds of cool promo offers, especially with NBA and NHL starting up. The World Series is going on. Like there's offers to be found. Find one, sign up, get your intro offer, get your bonus, and start playing. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun way to enjoy sports. That's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you so much, Peter Thomas Fornatel, Jonathan Kinchin, Drew Coatney, all the fellas at In the Money Media. And until next week, Rich, allegedly, that'll do it.